Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about the brand new little book, Some of the Words Are Theirs. This is written by Austin Carty and is published by Erdmans. Thank you to Erdmans. I want to say up front for sending me a review copy. This is my honest reaction to this book. I'll step you through my typical format. This one's not very long, so hopefully this review won't go too long. But I'll take you through my typical format of commenting a bit on who the author is, the main idea of the book, the research behind it, the readability of its style, and then at the end, my general reaction. So you can jump to the end if that's all you're interested in, but I'll walk through these other points here quickly. So first of all, Austin Carty is someone that I've gotten to know because of book reviewing and running this channel. He is a pastor. He was on the show Survivor at some point. If you are a devotee of that show, you might even recognize him if you look him up. I read his previous book called The Pastor's Bookshelf. I had no connection to him before that book, but I read that book and I adored it. I loved it. It really resonated with me as a pastor who reads a lot. It put a lot of language to my love for reading, my passion for reading, and also helped me kind of discern the role of reading in my own vocation job and that aspect of my life. And so I love that book. I actually wrote a review for a website that I write reviews for, and that's how he and I got connected, was after that got published. And so so we've been in touch since then. I've appreciated his thoughtfulness in general, and of course, because we're both big readers, there's that shared commonality there. So all I'm trying to say is that Austin has kind of turned into a friend, and so take that for what it's worth as I review this book. But I am just going to say right up front, I adored this book, maybe even more than The Pastor's Bookshelf, which is saying something because I loved that book too. So this is going to be a super positive review, but I'm going to step you through why. I'm going to try to articulate clear reasons why I think so highly of this book as I break down my different categories here. So the main idea of this book is it's about sermon writing. It is about the craft of sermon writing, but this is not a tips and tricks toolbox of a book. Something like Elements of Style is a very famous writing tips book. It's not that. This book, which I'll comment more on the uniqueness of this book in my reaction section, but this book very uniquely blends memoir and personal reflection with tried and true tips for writing and sermon crafting. It's a really unique blend of these elements that I've never experienced in a book before. And so it's hard to categorize. It is a book about sermon writing, but it's also a book about what it means to reflect on one's life. It's a book about what it means to be a pastor. It's a book it's kind of a theology of sermons, really. What role do sermons play in the life of a pastor, in the life of a congregation? Ultimately, I think it's about how sermons that are given are inevitably bound up in the life that the sermon giver lives. They flow out of your life, they flow out of your story. These things are inseparable, and that's good actually and holy, and it's healthy to know that and to reflect on that, and that reflection is modeled very, very beautifully in this book. There's one quote near the beginning on page 7 that I want to read that kind of gets at the main idea, I think. Okay, so on page 7, Austin writes, "What I have learned this past year through rereading my old sermons is that the writing process itself is necessary, even though we seldom know why at the time. Quote, 'The work will become visible,' St. Paul writes to the Corinthians, 'for the day will disclose it. So too, I believe, will the words become visible.' Which is to say, if we just keep writing, the true significance of our words will one day be revealed." I really love that quote, and it gets at the heart of the spirit of this book, which is the over time revealing of the faithfulness of a life lived and the faithfulness of a life kind of preached through sermons to a localized, embodied community that receives them. So this is a book about writing sermons. It's about being a pastor. It's about living and reflecting on your life. And it's about writing. And it's also about practical tips and tricks. So it's all those things blended together, I think, beautifully. Now, let's keep marching through. There's not a lot to say about research in this book. The research is not foregrounded in this book, though you can sense that Austin reads a lot, and he references widely Wendell Berry, Frederick Buechner, Chuck Klosterman, Wynne Collier. I mean, he kind of breezes through Charles Taylor he works with a bit. He breezes through these references, and they just kind of, it's not research-driven in the sense that there's not a ton of footnotes, and he's not trying to drive you to other sources per se, but the research, his reading life kind of is oozes through the writing of the book, and you can just tell this is a person who reads a lot and spends a lot of time in the company of books. So that's all I'm going to say about the research. You will maybe be turned on to someone like Chuck Klosterman as you read this, and you kind of see the inspiration there, but it's not really the purpose of the book. But what I do want to talk about is the readability of it. This is a huge reason I love this book so much. I think that it is beautifully rendered and beautifully written and beautifully structured. Actually, one of the biggest surprises for me in reading this book is the structure. I'll comment more on that in the reaction. But the structure is the chapters are titled and themed after aspects of sermon writing, like crafting a thesis or making edits or considering your audience. So if you look at the table of contents, it looks like a very brass tacks kind of tips and tricks workbook, but it couldn't be farther from that, because each chapter he seamlessly jumps into his own past, and he reflects. You get a good bit of autobiography here, and he reflects on aspects of his life that are remarkably relevant to the practical tip that he is referencing. It's hard to describe this adequately without actually experiencing the reading of the book, and I hope you do read this book so you can understand what I mean. But he will be reflecting on a chapter in his life that feels at first like, why is this in the chapter on editing your sermon? And then the way he jumps out of that reflection into discussing the practical tip of editing your sermon illuminates what he was modeling in the reflecting on his life in that sub theme, that subtopic. Again, hard to describe, but I think that's what's one of the reasons this book is kind of a remarkable little book, because of the way that he masterfully does that. So I found myself just movingly captured by these reflections on his life, and then guided into a reflection on how this kind of is revealed in the giving of sermon from the person who lived that very life he was just putting in front of you. And I want to read one quote that I also just think that the writing is exquisite. It's very emotive. The scenes of his life that he reflects on draw you in, I think, powerfully. He reflects on some vulnerable stuff, and it's very, very resonant. And so there's a quote near the end of the book on page 131 that I want to read that kind of sums some of the themes of the book up and gives you another taste of the style. So here's the thing. At a certain point in the process, we must stop trying to control our sermons and must learn instead to trust the Spirit of God. For who knows what mark our insufficient and soon forgotten words might make when the transformative wind of an eternal tomorrow sweeps them up and carries them away. I really love that phrase. I love that use of language, and that's indicative of how he writes throughout the book. It's really beautiful. And that finally leads me to my reaction. I've already told you what I think. I love, love, love this book. 5 stars from me. It is one of, if not my favorite thing I've read about sermon writing, honestly. And that's for a few reasons that I've alluded to already in this review that I'll sum up here. I think this book is, first of all, extraordinarily unique. I don't know of any book that balances the very practical with the very poetic and the very reflective and vulnerable autobiography, memoir style. I don't know of any other book that does that is about sermon writing specifically. So I think it's very unique, and for that reason alone deserves to be read widely. I also think it wouldn't work if he wasn't so good of a writer, actually, and that's because he's doing a delicate balancing act here. I think if you just kind of cut out all the memoir elements of this book and stitch them into just a memoir, it would be a really moving and capturing and captivating memoir in and of itself. He is very vulnerable, to the point where I thought, wow, I wonder how his family is reacting to this book being out in the wild, because there's some vulnerable reflections here. He's also humble, self-deprecating, and actually guides the reader through the recognition that even the way he's reflecting on his own story is in itself an act of editing, right? And so he's weighting certain events and certain people and not probably giving due consideration to other things, and he humbly reflects on that and ties that even itself into the act of sermonizing and sermon writing and sermon giving. So it's unique in its blend of style. It is extremely well structured and carefully put together and well written, and it's quite short. It's not overly long, so you can get through. I read it almost the whole thing in one sitting because I was just so captured by it. And it's just it's a skillful project. I think it's a skillful product that does not really line up exactly with lots of other books that I've read about giving sermons, and I love the unique approach to it. I love the self-reflective style. I also think it models something that would benefit a lot of sermon givers, a lot of pastors and preachers who give sermons regularly. Or even if you're not someone who gives sermons regularly, but you write a lot, like if you write, I don't know, if you write regularly for some internet, production or something, some website or something, anyone who's kind of on the treadmill of writing and putting thoughts together and reflecting constantly, and if you're in the kind of work where you're kind of constantly scanning your life and almost mining it for things that you can incorporate into a writing or speeches or whatever, this book really provides a remarkable, I don't know, I don't want to say tool because that feels like it's too dry, but it is kind of a tool. It's a product that's going to help you reflect on what that even means in your own life. And it's just very moving. It's very moving. I was emotionally moved and impacted by the experience of reading it, for the better. So, wow, I just love this book. If you're a pastor, I just cannot more highly recommend both the Pastor's Bookshelf and this one, but I would start with this one actually because it's brand new and it's a super easy read, and I just think that you're going to benefit so much from spending some time with it. So those are my thoughts on the brand new book, Some of the Words Are Theirs by Austin Carty, published by Erdmans. As always, thanks for taking a few minutes to watch.